Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about Trump's 100-day polling numbers, which are the lowest of any president in decades. And I don't even mean 2 decades. I mean 7 or 8 decades. We'll go over the numbers and then talk about what they mean. According to the ABC News Washington Post Ipsos poll, 39% of Americans approve of how Trump is handling the presidency. No president going back to 1945 had numbers that low at or near the 100-day mark. The previous record low was held by whoever was president in 2017. But even that guy had 42%. That's right. Trump now holds the number 1 and 2 positions for the lowest numbers. In the current poll, 55% of Americans disapprove of his performance. Those numbers will be the headline in a bunch of articles and videos. But those aren't even the worst numbers. A whopping 72% of Americans think he's somewhat likely or very likely to cause a recession. 73% of Americans say the economy is in bad shape. 53% said it's gotten worse since Trump took office. And 41% said their own finances have gotten worse under Trump. 62% have said the price of things they need or want have gone up. 71% blame Trump's tariff policies for price increases. So, people certainly aren't buying his claim that prices are going down when, they do their own shopping at the grocery store. This is going to be his biggest issue. But before we get to the explanation of why, we need to run through his polling on other issues. On the topics of immigration, managing the federal government, and looking out for the interests of the average American, a majority of Americans disapprove of Trump. The percentages range from 53% disapproval to 58% disapproval. Now, on to U.S. relations with other countries, tariffs, and the stock market. These are the topics he likes to pretend he's strongest on. Making America respected and the economy. Those numbers are even worse. Between 61 and 67% disapprove. The polling went through all of his policies. The thing he polled best on? Sending undocumented immigrants to El Salvador if they're suspected of being a member of a criminal organization, without a hearing. Only 51% of Americans disapprove of that. Those numbers will probably change as Americans realize that if one class of people doesn't have due process, nobody does. But it's his economic numbers that will limit his power. People were willing to put up with Trump because they thought he would help the economy. Americans made the classic authoritarian bargain. It doesn't seem that Americans believe he's holding up his end of the deal. More importantly, they might, just maybe, be starting to realize that most of what they blamed Biden for, as far as the economy, was a result of Trump's policies. Trump took credit for the economy he was handed by Obama, and because it was booming and on firm footing, it took time for Trump's economic policies to show. They were covered up by the pandemic. This time, the economy had just recovered from his first term. It had nailed the soft landing, but it wasn't on firm footing yet. The effects of his policies are showing themselves much faster. Here's the thing. If Congress doesn't act or he doesn't do a 180, it's going to get much, much worse. This will cause Republicans in Congress to lose support and therefore the midterms. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.